The King William County Sheriff's Office was called to the 100 block of Rodman Lane around 11:51 p.m. on January 21st. Virginia State Police is assisting with the investigation. And by the way, that's 2019, but we have an update about the story. That's why we're talking about it now, okay? And said that a man entered their home and began shooting once he got inside the home. So what happened was there was two people who share my skin color, black men, because we do the majority of the crimes in the country. That's a statistical fact, okay? They broke in this home and just started shooting. I have a ton of questions, but we're going to take a pin in that. We're going to bookmark it. We'll come back to that point. Two adults were inside the home and they were not injured, but officials say that it happens to be an isolated incident. And police say that the 8-year-old little boy, let me go back to his picture real quick. Let me get those thugs off my screen. This young man right here, his name was Orlando Anderson Jr. Guys, he was only 8 years old. 8 years old, and he actually had a nickname by the name of Scrappy. And he died from his injuries because what happened, and let me give a shout out to Jay McLovin in the chat. I see you. Thank you very much for being here. Really appreciate that. But once they got in the house and started shooting, the little boy, the 8-year-old boy, was the only one that got hit. I have a ton of issues with this entire story, okay? They quote, "They took a lot, and I planned so much for my baby, and he had so much planned for himself," said his mother, his biological mother. Let me see if I can get her back up on the screen so you can see the biological mom on the right-hand side. Her name is Alexis Mines, which is spelled M-I-N-E-S. The father's name right there on the left-hand side is Orlando Anderson Sr. Okay? Now, Alexis Mines said the Orlando was at his father's house when the gunman invaded the home, which I think he was at the grandparents' house. I'm not exactly sure. I'll tell it in a minute. The boy's father and grandmother were also inside the home at the time of the shooting, but were not injured. Orlando's father, Orlando Anderson Sr., and his mother, Alexis Mines, told the news outlets at the time that the boy was asleep when the gunman kicked in the front door and started shooting. That's the mom and that's the dad. They broke in the home and started shooting. The third grader, again, the little boy right there, he was in third grade, went to a Quinton Elementary School. He loved to dance. He loved school. He loved to fish. He loved video games and spending time with his family and friends, which is typical of a kid. That's awesome. Here's the update. The family now has a little bit of closure after Virginia State Police arrested not one, but two niggas. How many of you guys are surprised by this? Let me get those niggas up on my screen so you guys can see exactly who I'm talking about. Tweedledee and Tweedledum, right there. They are charged in this case for the murder of 8-year-old Orlando Scrappy Anderson Jr. One's name is Charles E. Coleman III, who's 32 years old, out of Aylett, it's spelled A-Y-L-E-T-T, and Keith E. Hargrove, who's 35 years old, of Richmond, Virginia, and were both charged. They were both charged in first-degree murder, attempted robbery with a firearm, armed burglary of a residence, conspiracy to commit burglary, conspiracy to commit robbery, and 2 counts of the use of a firearm in commission of a felony, according to the Virginia State Police. Now, to me, that sounds like a whole lot of charges, a whole lot of felonies, and a whole lot of years. I can't call it. It just sounds like a lot of charges. Nonetheless, they said, "I'm so glad he has his justice, and I'm glad that they caught him," said Scrappy's cousin, Carolyn Anderson. They need to pay for it, and they need to pay for it because this child did not ask for that at all. Y'all robbed me of that, and y'all just don't know how that feels, the young boy's crying father told the news. And I'm going to let y'all watch his interview, okay? And while you guys are here, if you would, do me a favor and click that thumbs up. It'll help share our stream. And you're asking what state this is out of Virginia, okay? The father said, "My son is not here anymore, and you don't know what it feels like until you have to go through this. You might not see it on TV every day, but when it hits home, it's way worse than what you see." Anderson Sr. added, "We had so much that we wanted to do, and somebody just took that away from us and robbed us of it, literally and figuratively." Orlando Scrappy Anderson Jr., 8 years old, was shot and killed on January 21st of 2019 inside a King William home on Robin Lane. It was reported that a male subject entered the residence and began shooting once he got inside. The shooter then fled on foot, a Virginia State Policeman spokesperson said. During the course of the shooting, Orlando Anderson Jr. was shot. He was transported to the VCU Medical Center in Richmond, which is in Virginia. So Richmond, Virginia, for the people that are asking. Y'all say it's a cesspool? I don't have any idea. I don't know anything about that area. So I'm just going to have to let you guys post what your thoughts are in the comment section. That's what the comments are for. Y'all got to let me know. Okay? He was transported to the VCU Medical Center, but he died of his injuries. Police also said that the child's father and grandmother were inside the home during the shooting, but they were not hurt. Anderson said it's been a long year and a very stressful year. Both men are being held with no bond. That's a good thing. No bond at the Henrico County Jail and the City of Richmond Jail, respectively. While the arrest won't bring Scrappy back, Anderson said at least this is some closure. And they also said, God will make a way. What comes around goes around, and it is what it is, and I'm glad Scrappy got his justice. Love you, Scrappy. And anybody with the information that knows anything about this case, motives, or anything like that, just call the police, which is the Virginia State Police Special, at 804-887-0024. And I was able to find 2 separate GoFundMe pages as well, if you guys want to take a look at that. But before we get there, let's go ahead and give you guys the fair usage, and we'll get this first video going. So let's get started. Federal law allows citizens to reproduce, distribute, or exhibit portions of copyrighted motion pictures, videotapes, or video discs under certain circumstances without the authorization of the copyright holder. This is called fair use. It is allowed for purposes of criticism, news reporting, teaching, and parody, which doesn't infringe of copyright under 17 U.S.C. 107.
That shooting took place on January 1st of last year in the 100 block of Robin Lane in King William County. Investigators say a male subject entered the home and began shooting and then ran out and fled on foot. 8-year-old Orlando Anderson was shot, taken to VCU Medical Center, where he died later from his injuries. The boy's father and grandmother were in the home at the time, but they were not injured in the shooting. A multi-jurisdictional grand jury handed up felony indictments against 32-year-old Charles Coleman of Islet and 35-year-old Keith Hargrove of Richmond. Both men also facing charges of attempted robbery with a firearm, armed burglary of a home, conspiracy to commit burglary, conspiracy to commit robbery, and use of a firearm in commission of a felony. Hargrove is being held in the Richmond City Jail, Coleman being held at the Henrico County Jail. Investigators are still asking if you have any information about this case to call the Virginia State Police at 887-0024.
You have to let it out.
I had to speak on everything. That I won't go talk to, but I had to.
Good though.
A tight-knit family coming together Saturday afternoon.
I just never thought that this would happen to me.
As Orlando Anderson and Alexis Mines continues to move through life without their son, Orlando Anderson Jr., also known as Scrappy.
My son here 1 minute and then the next minute he gone.
8-year-old Scrappy was shot and killed a year ago this January inside a King William County home along Robin Lane. His father and grandmother were in that home when shots rang out, but only Scrappy was hurt. This week, police arrested 2 men, Charles Coleman III and Keith Hargrove, both charged with first-degree murder.
I mean, it brings closure to my family, but I still feel the same way. I'm still angry.
Both of them need to feel the fact that they did something to a child.
Both his parents say knowing the 2 men are behind bars brings some closure, but the pain is still unbearable.
I got PTSD. I just feel lost without my baby. I'm really going through a lot, and this is every day.
On the 23rd, it'll be a year, and we gotta go and celebrate his life at a gravesite instead of celebrating his life in general.
And their message for the 2 men responsible.
After you knew what you did, and you still walk around every day like ain't nothing happened, and that another part that gets me angry.
Now, Anderson and Mines say they hope anyone with information will come forward. State police are asking anyone that does have information to give them a call. Working for you tonight, I'm Matthew Foltz, CBS 6 News. Finally, some little bit of closure, as this family tells me it's been a long, stressful year, but joy comes today with what they say is long overdue justice.
Oh, wonderful.
Emotions run high Thursday afternoon
I can't explain myself.
for Carolyn Anderson after hearing the news that 2 men were arrested in connection to the 2019 shooting death of her 8-year-old cousin Orlando Anderson Jr., known as Scrappy.
I'm so glad that he has his justice. I am. And I'm glad that they caught him.
The 2 men were identified as Charles Coleman III and Keith Hargrove, both facing multiple charges including first-degree murder and attempted robbery with a firearm.
They need to pay for it. They need to pay for it because the child did not ask for that at all.
Police say the shooting happened just before midnight on January 21st when a man walked into a home along Robin Lane in King William County and began shooting inside before taking off running. Orlando was hit, but his grandmother and father, who were also inside, were not injured. Now, nearly a year later, Anderson reflects how life has been since for the whole family.
Stressful, very stressful.
While the arrest won't bring back her cousin, she says she's just glad there's some closure.
God will make a way. What comes around goes around. So, hey, it is what it is, and I'm glad Scrappy got his justice. Love you, Scrappy.
Now, both men are being held tonight without bond in Henrico and Richmond jails. Virginia State Police are asking anyone with additional information on the incident to give them a call. Working for you tonight in Richmond, I'm Matthew Foltz, CBS 6 News.
First and foremost, this little boy was sleeping at a home. I don't know whose home he was at, but there was a grandmother and his father at that home. Maybe they were visiting, maybe they lived there. The reason why that's important is because of the fact that if the biological mother and father don't live together, which that's pretty normal for the black community. I mean, y'all know that we can't keep families together, but I did like the fact that they were together in every interview that's been done. They've been together. That's a good sign that maybe they were there to support each other. I don't know if they have any internal issues or not. That's not really my place to say if they have relationship issues or anything like that. But it does make me wonder if what was the situation that caused them to end up spending this time over at the grandmother's house. Maybe that's a normal thing, okay? But we have to question everything that we see and everything that we hear, because it doesn't make sense that so-called 2 black men kicked in a door, broke into a home, got scared, started shooting, didn't hit the person that scared them with the gunshots, which also means that niggas have no aim because they don't go to the gun range and they can't aim for worth a damn, right? And end up killing an innocent person. But we do realize that from stories like we've done out of Chicago and so many other places, that when niggas shoot, they usually aren't hitting their intended targets. I've actually seen what people, niggas, I saw a nigga walk up on a black girl or black woman fighting another black woman, and he walked right up on her at point blank range and shot at her leg 3 times, and he missed the first 2 shots at point blank range. Do we have bad aim? You're damn right we do. Is this a possible accident? Maybe it happened really quickly. Yes, it's very possible. Bullets can go through a lot of things. It could go through drywall, it can go through wood, it can go through doors, it can go through glass. For the people that are thinking that maybe there's more to this, there's always a possibility that maybe there's something that we're missing as far as the information. I'm hoping that information comes out, and I'm hoping that we do find out more. For now, Charles Coleman III and Keith Hargrove, their asses are in jail. They have no bond. They have a ton of charges against them. And if we are to believe what they're charged with is actually what happened, then they need to be in jail permanently. There is no redemption. There is no room for hoping that they get better over time and do their time. No, that should be a wrap for them. They too damn old and too damn dumb to be 33 and 35 years old out robbing and stealing. Niggas is lazy and niggas need to get a damn job, work and earn something. In 2020, 2019, 2018, Since the day of the internet, there are so many different avenues for being able to make a career and to be able to make money in different shape, forms, and fashion. You don't have to steal, you don't have to rob, you don't have to kill, you don't have to do any of that stuff, but not be a lazy mind. You guys do not know this portion, but let me go back real quick. But from what I understand, if I can't even get his picture back up on the screen. Let me see if I can go back. It's okay. You see this picture. But from what I understand, that little boy that you see on my screen right there was a model student at his school, from what I understand. I heard that he was making really good grades and he was doing really well in school. And it's just a shame, the fact that, you know, he was robbed at an opportunity to be something great. Another thing we need to talk about is these GoFundMes, because there were 2 of them, okay? Let's put these GoFundMes on the screen, all right? First and foremost, let's talk about this one. It was posted last year, January 22nd of 2019. Help raise money for Lil Scrappy's family. The organizer was Hope Anderson, as you guys can see here, and the money was to be sent to the biological mother. Alexis Mines is the biological mother. They raised $3,412. It doesn't say that, it says that it was deactivated. We don't know why, but nonetheless, that's what it was. Here's the second GoFundMe. This is the second GoFundMe, which is also deactivated. Now, I don't know if that's something you can do on your own, or if GoFundMe found out something and they shut it down, but this one was put up only a day later. Can you guys see that? Only a day after the other GoFundMe was put up. So there were 2 GoFundMes put up immediately. Okay? Says Orlando Anderson. I don't see any story here, but it shows that this organizer was the biological mother. So the first person was supposed to be sending the money to the biological mother in the first one. This one shows that the organizer is the biological mother herself on the second one. And they raised $1,965. They don't give an explanation as to what happened, if the GoFundMe was disabled for something fraudulent. I don't know. But nonetheless, just so you guys will have full disclosure, that's what we know about the story so far. They caught 2 people. So this story has been lingering for a year about who actually murdered that young man, and we might be onto something. And hopefully they can get full justice and sentence these 2 decrepit idiots to jail for life, because what they stole from this family is just unspeakable. And I hope that no other people have to go through something like this. We're 20 days into the year and we already have so many stories to talk about, okay? They could have cashed out and deactivated it. Okay, so thank you for giving me that information, because I didn't know. But nonetheless, that was a happy young man. That was a smiling young man. And I believe that he could have been something great, and he was robbed of that opportunity. So I want to say RIP to Orlando Anderson Jr. Scrappy seemed to be a great kid. And again, man, let's continue to keep doing better by our babies, man. This is your boy DJ Just Jam signing out. We're the AFC. We advocate for children first, okay? Prayer hands up. Thank you guys from my heart to yours. We'll see you on the next stream, all right? It's the end of the stream. Peace.